UBT is a tax that was really meant for corporations that were trying to get out of paying corporate taxes by creating partnerships, and it was created in the 1960s. And nobody really thought about freelancers back then. It was just a teeny percentage. And so as the economy changed and freelancing grew, a lot of freelancers got caught in that like dolphins in the tuna net. And it really was never meant for them, and now they're paying this double tax.
And on a topic that I think is of core importance to this committee, and really to the council and to the city's economy, the topic is how can we make it a little bit easier for freelancers, independent workers, storefronts, bodegas to stay afloat and, one hopes, thrive in this extremely trying moment in the city's economy. And one thing we can do is end the unfair double taxation that independent workers and many small storefront owners are subject to. I'm speaking, of course, of the unincorporated business tax.
I felt like the elected officials, and there were two people who were running for office, were really committed. Speaker Quinn, Mayor Bloomberg, David Yassky, who held the hearing and has been really pushing for this, as has the Speaker for a number of years. Really expressed their unequivocal support. And also City Council person James, and two people who are running for office. And so it's really clear that the momentum is on our side.
For independent workers, freelancers, storefront owners, this functions as a double tax. Taxed once by the UBT and a second time by the city's personal income tax. That is unfair in this time.
When the UBT first began, it was justified as taxing only businesses that had set out to avoid corporate taxes. But the UBT grew into an injustice when it was expanded to snare solo professionals.
The people who testified, the members, I think were really persuasive in showing, one member testified that because the UBT, it's really like the straw that broke the camel's back, and she has to move out of New York.
Even though I am paying this additional tax called the Unincorporated business tax, I get none of the benefits that the state gives to corporate taxpayers, and I also get no access to the benefits the state gives to regular employees, like protection against unpaid wages or unemployment. Over the past year, I've finally come to accept that the UBT and other financial burdens of New York City have gotten to be too much for my business and my family. In a week, we will be moving to another big city in another state, one that does not levy an additional tax on freelancers who bring so much to the city's economy.
Other people saying that they want to stay in New York, but this tax is just basically killing them. And then some other really interesting testimony about looking at the stimulus package coming from Washington, that many people are concerned about the way that the banking industry and who's benefiting. But when you cut a tax for freelancers, they go into their local communities, spend in New York City, many in the neighborhoods in which they live. So the money gets recycled and builds economic development even more. And I think that's one of the most important lessons. Freelancers play a critical role in New York City, and freelancers should not have to pay this tax, and we should be thinking about how we're going to build the next safety net.
Freelancing, as you will have gathered from others, is not a hobby. It is not something we take up for extra spending money. We freelancers have real jobs. We may be unincorporated and unaffiliated, but the work we do is essential for the income it provides us and for its contribution to the city's economic well-being. All we are asking for is a level playing field for what is right and fair, and that is the elimination of the unincorporated business tax.
I have to say, walking down Broadway, getting to the building where the hearing was, to see the sea of red t-shirts was incredible. And that there were actually so many members that came that, sadly, for the ones who couldn't get in, we actually had an overflow group.
Pretty much, I would say 60% of the people I know are independent workers and are having to deal with their own health insurance, having to do their taxes themselves, figure out their own retirement plans, and I just don't think that's fair.
This is a really important cause for us, and I wanted to be there also for Freelancers Union, because I'm very, very grateful to the union and proud to be a part of it. And you know, if you're going to initiate these things on our behalf, I think it's really important that we, the members, make sure we attend and show up. So I really wanted to be sure to show up.
The next thing is that the legislation is going to go up to Albany, and then hopefully that it passes. And it's one of these crazy, archaic, technical tax rules, but the city council then can pass something so that it all has to happen within the next few weeks. And I truly believe that it's going to happen, and it will affect freelancers. They will get tax relief probably starting next year.